just have to check. Excuse me. Hello. Hello. Awesome. Now I just need to Okay. Let me see if it's too loud. There we go. Whew. How did I do this again? It's been a while. Okay. Hello and welcome back to... Okay, let's start over. Whew. Oh man. Alright. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Adjusting, a college podcast, a sort of pseudo diary that I have created so I don't lose my mind as I attend college. This episode is sponsored by my parents who let me live in their house. I always say the same thing. Yeah, wow, okay. So today's episode is gonna be the same. I'm gonna say what I did, and then I'm going to answer questions or give advice, and or both. Then I'll talk whatever I want to talk about, and then I will say the weather. So, first things first, I was on break for 5 weeks, so there hasn't been an episode in like a month or something, a month and a half or something like that. And I did that because it's like a break kind of thing. I didn't really say anything about it. I just kind of stopped. I should have said like, oh yeah, because originally when I ended the episode like a month ago, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do some during the break, but then I just ended up not doing them. So that's probably what's gonna happen in the summer as well. When we get there, it snowed this year like twice or something, and in my region of the world, it hardly ever snows. It's a desert, you know. There's little to no precipitate, and it's kind of hot. But it snowed this year, and it was really nice. My dog loves the snow. He just loves it. I don't know. He likes to jump around in it. He likes to eat it, and he just likes to be in it. So he was really happy about that. What did I do during break? I watched the entirety of The Office, and I watched like 7 different anime series, and then I got into like 2 new other series while on break. I'm watching The Good Place. The season 3 finale just came out last Thursday, and it was incredible. Whew. Oh wow, this is a lot harder than I remember it being, but I'm sure I'll get used to it again. I've been in class for 1 week, and I just decided I should do it for the 1 week this time instead of waiting 2 weeks in. But it's still going to be on its regular 2-week period. So, let's see. There was no class on Monday because it was a Martin Luther King holiday. So that was really, really cool. But Tuesday, I can pull up my schedule here 1 second. Tuesday, I have 2 classes, and they're both lecture classes. It's my Chem 2 class and my Bio 1 lecture course, and it's pretty cool. Chem 2 is just like exactly where it's being picked up off, like how to explain it? Like where it ended, where Chem 1 ended, is where Chem 2 starts. So yeah, it's like I don't know, it's just like one day to the next. Yeah, I don't. Oh wow, this is okay. So, whew. It was really cool. I sit in the front. Bio is really easy. It's like so natural. Then on Wednesdays on Wednesdays I have my bio lab, at 9:30. Then, oh yeah, one thing about my chem lab, my chem lectures, that it's at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah. Um, and then I have this science and inquiry course, which is just research kind of thing, from 1 to 1:20. That's pretty cool. And then on Thursday, same thing, but the thing is, on Thursday I have a film class from 6 to 8:50 p.m. I'll tell you about that later. And on Friday I have a lab. So Friday basically is like super free. Like I have a lab at 9, so I just go to lab and then I'm done. But I take Cameron, so he's not done till 4, which gives me time to like go to the gym and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then on Mondays I have the science inquiry class for the first time in the week, and then my chem lab. And then that's not till 1. And then yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So originally, I don't know if you remember me saying this in my last episode, I said that I was going to have Chem 2, Bio 1, the Science and Math and Inquiry, and Stats. But what happened was, right before classes, my Stats class got cancelled. And the thing about Stats is that it's 4 credit hours, and I was at 15. I was at 15 credit hours, and what ended up happening was that it made me fall below, and that was not fun, because what happens is they strip your scholarship. But I forgot about that, and so I go to class on Tuesday. Then my campus is pretty big, but it's not, it's like a small big campus. There's a lot of floors, so everything's like vertical. I go to the academic services building, and I go to registration just to see what they can tell me. And I had a feeling like this had to like mess up like the monetary situation somehow. And so I go to registration, I ask them, is this like, this class got canceled, like what do I do, like how does this affect my money? And they were like, we can't answer that question, you're gonna have to go to the math department and figure out why you canceled it, and this and that. And I was like, in my head I was like, I don't care why they canceled it, I just wanted to know, like, what do I do from here, like. So I was gonna add a 1-hour course just to be at 12 hours, and I was gonna add a PE class, but the only one available was like a P90X one, and I don't know if I wanted to do that to myself. Yeah, but excuse me. Yeah. And so what I did is that I went on my career pathway kind of thing, and I needed a creative arts credit, so I added my film course. And what happened was, I went to the business services and I asked them what happened, like how does this, and they said they retracted it from your scholarship. And I was like, okay, like I didn't exactly process what that meant. I didn't exactly process what that meant. And so they said, oh yeah, you should go to the scholarship office So I went to the scholarship office and I was about to sign in, but then the person attending asked me, well, like, well, what's up? Like, how can I help you? And I told him the whole thing about how everything got canceled, and he said, okay, add a class now, like right now. And so I registered for the film course, and lucky me, I was the last one to register for the film course. He said, okay, you're gonna call this lady and she can put back your scholarship. And I was like, okay. So I get the card and I go to the union building, and I got on a computer and I see like what's going on, and like at the current moment I was $1,380.64 in debt because I could not pay for my classes. But the thing is, my scholarship covers $1,500 a semester. So I was like, okay, cool. Once I get this figured out, I should be fine. And I called the lady and she didn't answer. But then she called me back and I explained to her the whole thing, and she said, okay. And in 2 minutes, so the entire call with her lasted 2 minutes, and she put it back like it was no problem. And so now I'm not in debt. But that was crazy. That was real crazy. So there's no labs on the first week, so I didn't have so that was Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I only had one class because there was no labs that week. And the science and inquiry class is basically like how to research class, and that's pretty cool. And we're gonna be grouped up and stuff, and I hope my group is cool. I'll find out tomorrow. Then on Thursday was a long day because I'm there from 7:30 in the morning to 8:50. So I have 2 lectures, and then my film class. So I can't go to Senate meetings. I don't know if you guys remember, I'm a legislative assistant for a senator in the Student Government Association. I'm not required to go to the meetings, but it's cool to go to the meetings. Cameron has a class that ends at 4. Maybe has a class that ends at like 2 something. So my class starts at 6, and Senate starts at 6:30, and it ends between like 6:30 and 8:50 most of the time. And so I'm there, and film is really cool. I mean, it's super relaxed. It's just watching movies objectively, and we watched Nosferatu, and I've never seen it before, but it's one of the oldest movies in existence, and it's incredible how like the story progresses, and the narrative is, because it's just like if there was if it was written like if the narrative was written today in real real life. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, it's like if you watch the movie, like the narrative is like was advanced for the time, because we watched another older movie and there was like no narrative whatsoever. It was kind of crazy. And the entire week I had been at a tabling event because it was welcome week, and so he was just showing like, oh yeah, like showing different clubs that are at UTEP, and yeah, I mean, it was really cool. So like, what the table I was at was the Student Alumni Association, and everyone was like, okay, let's go to the basketball game on Thursday, then we'll go to Independent Burger after. And for those of you who don't know, Independent Burger is a burger joint that has like gourmet burgers, and on Thursdays they have a $5 burger special. So it's like $6 a burger because of tax and stuff. So for like 2 people, you can eat under $15 if you don't order drinks. You just order water. And I usually just drink water anyway, so it was pretty chill. So come Thursday, I'm in class, and we watched all the movies. Excuse me. And I walked back to the Union to go to the 3rd floor, and Senate had ended, and I walk up there, and like they're having like a religious debate like on the 3rd floor, and I was very, very confused. I wasn't exactly sure what was happening, but I asked Cam, and it was like it's the same thing you hear all the time. And apparently they gave out cookies, and the cookies were pretty good. They were very like genuinely like cool people. Like they weren't angry or anything, which is the good part. So that was Thursday. And then Friday, we were gonna help some kids with the UIL stuff. And so what ended up happening was I took Cameron to his one class, and then after that one class, we came back to our high school and we're helping out kids. I took a nap. It was pretty cool. However, unfortunately, the kids did not get a qualifying place to go to regionals, unfortunately. But they did try their best, and I'm very proud of them. And I hope they had fun. It is a very tiring experience. I did it for 4 years. It is a marathon of cross-examination debate. And man, it's hard. It really is hard. It's tough. So, yeah. That was my first week. It was rather calm. It was really calm, like almost unsettlingly calm. But I don't know. I guess that's why I have this podcast, right? I mean, it's literally called Adjusting, a college podcast. Like it's me like figuring out what the heck's going on. Whew, okay. Let's see. It is my second semester, the first spring semester, so when this spring semester ends, I will be creating a playlist on the channel called Spring 2019 Semester / Season 2. And yeah, because I just compiled Fall 2018 Semester / Season 1 on the channel into a playlist. So, and it's in order. So when you listen to it, it's in order from oldest to newest. The special episode, which I don't know if it's available on the channel to watch anymore, but the beta test and the Minecraft episode are not available on the playlist because they're auxiliary episodes. Yeah. One thing about the Minecraft episode, I got a copyright claim on it because of a song. And then what I realized is that because during the stream, while I was streaming Minecraft, I I was also looking at memes on my phone, and memes are songs, right? And so like some memes have like sound, and one of those songs got claimed, even though it was like I don't know, like 15 seconds of a song or something, and I thought that was like ridiculous. But it was kind of funny at the same time. Yeah, that's all the update with the channel. I might because on the at my university, on the Mac computers, there is an animation program that is available to us, and so I might change the picture right here, the one that you're looking at on the screen, the still frame, into an animation. Very simple animation. Nothing too extravagant or exciting or dynamic, because this podcast is not to be extremely exciting or dynamic. It's regular life. Sometimes life is dynamic and exciting. Most of the time it's not. Grocery shopping, you can make it dynamic, but then you'll get kicked out of wherever you're shopping groceries for. But I guess that's what the whole part of the experience. No, but that's one idea that I have. It'll be a quaint little animation. Maybe maybe the same backdrop, and I'll just have the logo like bumping around like the DVD, the one where like it like fell in the corner, and I don't know how long I'll make the animation for, but yeah. It sounds pretty cool. Sounds like a good idea. So, I actually have some questions to answer, and so the first question comes from Amy, and she says, because the picture that I posted along with this on my story is a picture of Fully Cooley thing that I have actually as my lock screen, and Amy says, is that a Coco pic? And Amy has really bad typos. I'm very certain she means Fully Cooley, and yes, it is. Yes, it is Fully Cooley, a Fully Cooley background. Fully Cooley is my favorite anime, for those of you who don't know. It's about puberty and growing up and distinguishing the line between when you're an adult and when you're not. And it's an entire baseball metaphor, like the baseball metaphor for like making out and becoming intimate, but as philosophy. It's very, very, very intriguing. So I have another question here, and this one is from Hector. He says, "A, when will you have Rose River again?" Soon. I just need to figure out how my schedule works, and homework and stuff, but soon. So if you guys don't remember, we had Rose River on the channel, and that was really fun. We had a lot of fun. Let's see. So Mackenzie submitted this question twice, and it says, why do you have a podcast? That's a great question, Mackenzie. Why do I have a podcast? The reason I have the podcast, the reason I have a podcast, the title of it is self-explanatory. Of it explains itself. It explains itself. I also explain it every opening of every episode. Let me change the text to like black. So as you know, this is a pseudo diary. It's a pseudo diary or an online diary where I rant about college and how I am experiencing it. No. And how my experience is. And how my experience is. It's my anchor to a stress-free, sanity-kept time. No. Life. Alrighty. This next question comes from Renee. And it says, what is the single most terrifying experience of your life? Oh man, single most terrifying experience? Let's see. I'm put answer is too long for IG. Check this episode at minute 34 for answer. So, Renee, to answer your question, what is the single most terrifying thing that ever happened to me? Well, I should start here. With my fears. I used to be afraid of the dark. I slept with a nightlight or lamp or door open with the hall light on until I was about 16, 17. So that was like 2-3 years ago. I had an irrational fear of the dark, not because I couldn't see, but because like what was in the dark that I didn't know what I couldn't see. Not that I could not. It's what I couldn't know. How to explain it? It's not that I couldn't see. It's that what I could not see. It's not the fact that I couldn't distinguish things in the dark, but the fact that how do I explain the fear of the dark? Because it's such an irrational fear, it's hard to explain. It's like if I was scared, because it's dark when you close your eyes, but I'm not scared when I close my eyes because I know my eyes are closed, and so I know I can't perceive what is going on outside of my closed eyelids. But because my eyes are open, I still can't perceive what is going on outside of my eyes, and there's no light coming into my eyes. I cannot, because I can't see, not because I can't see. Do you know what I mean? So that was my original fear. But I slowly started getting rid of the fear by closing my door. Then I started sleeping without a lamp because it broke. And so I just started dealing with it, and then I got rid of it. But then I started up thinking, like, what am I really scared of? And it was like, because of the fear of the dark, it's not that I was alone in the dark, it's that I thought that I was not alone in the dark. But because of that, it made myself feel even lonelier, more like I was alone in the dark with everything else. And so that developed into the fear of being alone and like not being able to communicate. So I summed it up with the fear of like becoming a ghost, like being here but not being here. Do you know what I mean? So being here on this plane, seeing things, not being able to interact with anything, not being able to do anything with anything, and just here, and no one knows I'm here, and the feeling of loneliness is extreme. It's an extreme fear for me because because I'm not in control of the loneliness. Like I'm not, like I didn't choose to be alone. So like when I'm home alone and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm home alone, like this is fine. Like I can watch TV or whatever. But what if I'm like, if I wake up and there's no one home and I go outside and there's no noise or anything, then I start freaking out, you know what I mean? And so this one night I am sleeping. Excuse me. I'm sleeping, and I lucid dream like 95% of the time. And so I'm asleep, and I started lucid dreaming, and I'm like, okay. And so I was gonna like try to like maybe like do stuff like lucid dream and like move around and whatever I could do that was like in the power of me being able to lucid dream. And what happened was I was like trying to connect my fingers like the Illuminati, like a triangle with both my hands in front of like my third eye. I'm really spiritual, by the way. In front of like my third eye, see like if I can like open it, see if I could and how it's how you just, I don't know, open it, you know. It was so basically what happened is I'm dreaming, right? So I'm in my bed and I'm dreaming that I'm like at this like cocktail party, like at someone's house, but all the lights are off. And I'm lucid dreaming. I know this because in the perspective of my dream, I'm laying down in my bed and I'm like moving around like in my bed, like laying down, looking up. And for the brief second, and then so they turned on the light, and for the brief second for the light that was that it was on, I saw a dollhouse, and I was like, what the heck? Okay. And then turned off the lights, and everyone got like all like, oh, why'd you turn off the lights? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, I gotta go. And so then I shift, like I phase shift, and I'm in my room now, and my iPad is like open, and it's like playing like this video, but like like one of like the background of like of this video, like it's just like standard, like minimalistic kind of thing, and I can see the light, and I can't move my head or anything, but I'm like, okay. So I go to place my hands in a triangle over my third eye to see if that does anything. And as I reach closer to my fingers touching each other, the pressure and like weight of sleep paralysis like increases. And so I'm like half sleep paralyzed. And so by this time I'm fully conscious and I'm no longer lucid dreaming. I am now in sleep paralysis. And I'm screaming. Well, I'm like half sleep paralysis. I can like groan and I can groan and like croak, kind of like pushing it, like when you're really, really sick and you try to talk and it's just like that. And so I'm going and I'm like, I have to shake it off. I have to shake it off. I have to shake it off. And so I'm trying to move my head, trying to shake it off, and so I shake it off, and I wake up, and I check my iPad, and it's like 3 in the morning. I'm like, okay, this isn't anything new. I'm awake a lot of the times at 3 in the morning. During, I think it was in the summers, so I was like, right. I was like, whatever. Or it was like spring break. I don't know. But during that time, I was like awake a lot during 3 in the morning, and I knew exactly what everything looked like. There was like, so my neighbors, where my window is, there's like, they have like a porch light kind of thing that sometimes goes on when there's like a cat or whatever, and it's like this white light. No, it's like a yellow light, so like I can like see the light kind of from like the top of my window from where the curtains break, and I wake up, and so I see the light coming from my window, but the thing is, like, the light is a different color than what it usually is. It was like this weird greenish blue, and I immediately thought, something's wrong. Like, something is wrong. So I start screaming for my dad to come, because he's a really, 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 really light sleeper. Like, you can look at him while he's sleeping and he'll wake up. So I'm screaming for him, and nothing's happening. It's like 5 minutes go by, nothing's happening, and I'm like, okay. So I get out of bed, and I walk out into the kitchen, and my mom. Oh, and one thing, let me make this. And I sleep close to my dogs, and if I'm screaming, then they would wake up and like make noise, and their collars would like jingle and clink, but there was no jingling or clinking. And my mom leaves the porch light outside on at night, and it wasn't on. And so I was like, okay, something is definitely wrong. So I walk to my parents' room and I knock on the door. And if me screaming didn't wake him up, I was like, okay, definitely the knock on the door wakes him up. Usually I wake him up, then he goes, what, or whatever. And I knock on the door and nothing happens. So then I knock harder and nothing happens. And I'm like, okay, that's not a good sign, because I can hear him snoring. Or was he not snoring? I forget, but I know he's in there. And so then I open the door and I'm harshly whispering for him so to hear me, and if the knocking didn't wake him up, then me opening the door and calling his name would wake him up. But then 3 minutes went by and that didn't. So 3 minutes from me approaching the door and whispering has passed, and nothing's happened. So I raise my voice and I'm talking at a normal speaking level, as if like everyone was awake, so then everyone in the house could hear me, and nothing. And so I'm like, okay, sometimes I was like, okay, sometimes this happens, and my mom wakes up, and I call for my mom, and she doesn't wake up, and I'm like, okay, if that didn't, I know she's not gonna wake up. So then I go up to him, and I'm standing over him while he's sleeping in bed, and I'm like, Pops. I'm talking to him like, Pops, wake up. Pops, wake up. And I'm there for like 3 minutes, so it's been 6 minutes now. And I'm thinking to myself, something is seriously wrong. I think I'm dead. And this is my ghost. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm dead. And so I go for one last thing. If that doesn't work, this is my last tactic that I have. And it is, I grab my dad's foot. And if you touch him or you poke him, he usually wakes up. I grab his foot and he doesn't wake up. And I'm like, oh God, maybe I am dead. And so I start shaking his foot violently, and I'm now crying because I have convinced myself that I was dead and I was not able to communicate with the living whatsoever. And so then I grabbed his leg and I started shaking his leg, and he is not awake. At this point, I am now scream crying in the corner of the room by the door. Mind you, scream crying, convinced that I have since passed on from the world of the living. I thought I was dead. I genuinely thought I was dead. That feeling is something incredibly terrifying to me. It is the most horrifying thing to ever happen to me. So I figured, I'm dead now. I need to pass on. After 15 minutes of me scream crying in the corner of the room. And so I'm like, okay, alright. I need to move on. I need to move on from this planet, because if I do not move on from this ghostly realm that I am in, I will be forever tortured in my loneliness and me not being able to communicate with the living. So I seriously get up in the mindset that I am dead and that I need to move on from the living. And I go up to my dad to say my goodbyes to him. And I touch his arm and he wakes up. And I start crying and I'm like, he's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I thought I was dead. I've been in your room for like 20 minutes. And so that is the most horrifying experience that has ever happened to me. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. I would not wish death on my worst enemy. That the fact that I was able to feel that while I was alive is incredible. And it's terrifying. It really, really is. I've probably said that story on here like once or twice, but that's like the in-depth answer. Okay. That does it for all the questions, actually. Wow. Alright, so I'm gonna start looking for the weather. Excuse me. So some advice that I would give you for your second semester is, I have no idea yet. I have no advice to give. My advice for break would be, please enjoy your break. I started getting bored towards the end of the break because I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. It was weird. I started getting bored. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. So make sure you have stuff to do. Do a bunch of stuff. Do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you feel good. I know that's like generic advice, but truly, you're on break. It's break, you know? So have fun. That's what I did. Okay, so tomorrow is going to be sunny. I have 64, so I'm just gonna say temperatures and the humidity and whether there's a chance of rain. If I don't say precipitation percent, then that means you're 0%. So Monday, January 28th, sunny, 64-35, 26% humidity. Tuesday, January 29th, cloudy, 54-38, 34% humidity. Wednesday, cloudy, 63-40, 31% humidity. Thursday, mostly cloudy, 69-43, looks like it's warming up, 30% humidity. Friday, February 1st, partly cloudy, 68-42, 34% humidity. Saturday, February 2nd, mostly cloudy, 70-44. Finally seeing some 70s, you know? Humidity, 43%. Sunday, February 3rd, partly cloudy, 66-42, 20% precipitation, 38% humidity. Monday, February 4th, partly cloudy, 67-41, 36% humidity. Next Tuesday, February 5th, partly cloudy, 66-42, 35% humidity. Next Wednesday, mostly cloudy, 66-40,
10% rain, 32% humidity. Thursday, February 7th, 64-40, 10% rain, 31% humidity. Friday, February 8th, mostly cloudy, 66-41, 10% rain, 27% humidity. Saturday, February 9th, cloudy, 66-40, 20% rain, 27% humidity. Sunday, February 10th, mostly cloudy, 64-40, 10% rain, and 31% humidity. Wow. Oh, I just popped my back. It'd be cool, like, back popping ASMR. Oh, no one's watching. That's funny. Ooh. If anyone heard that, that was my ankle. Okay. What time is it? 10:56, and it is 50. So I started exactly at 10. It's pretty cool. Follow my Instagram. If you look up the moon emoji and Bruce, you should find it. Also, it's like _ Bruce.png. Yeah. I post memes. That's pretty much all I do. Oh wow. Okay. So we're near the end of the episode, and I would just like to say thank you everyone who watched this week's episode, or just thank you everyone who listened to this week's episode. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, one thing, I felt really anxious all day, but I just kind of forgot about it, and I feel really relaxed now. I think I needed this, my outlet. I enjoy this outlet very much. It's really nice, and so big thanks to my parents and the internet that allows me to express myself in such ways that's healthy and not self-destructive as I used to be. So that's really, really nice. I definitely needed this. Well, as we near the end of the episode, I'd like to say thank you all for listening, and this episode was brought to you by my parents who let me live in the house and buy me food and stuff. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below, or message me on Instagram. Just go back and listen to that part. It's fairly simple URL, nothing fancy. Keep a lookout for another episode 2 weeks from now. Maybe then I'll have the animation, maybe not, who knows. On my Instagram I also post the ability to have questions, so that's where the questions come from. And then I read the answer out loud, post the answer online. It's really cool. Also, if you know any this jazz. This one's called Elder Dilemma. It's really nice, but I think I'm looking for something else, something more upbeat, or maybe something more common. Who knows? Something with more saxophone, less piano. Yeah. Anyways, thank you guys, and good night.